97 years young Norman Enders could be seen here at Northfield Aerodrome being honoured by the Chingford Royal Air Force Association and the Royal British Legion. Norman was escorted by their standard bearers after becoming an honorary member at the former RAF fighter base on Sunday, May the 8th, 2002, to pose for photographs in front of a Spitfire owned by Aero legends. He was accompanied by his RAFA welfare case officer James Baillie, who now shares Norman's story with CRHnews, having originally been featured by the Waltham Forest Echo. Mr. Baillie tells us that it was back in 1943 that Norman, an Air Training Corp Cadet, received his call-up papers to the RAF, following his father, who served in the First World War in the RAF and the Royal Naval Air Service. Norman's journey would lead from RAF Aircrew Reception Centre in St George's Wood to Southern Africa. Selected for pilot training, he learned to fly on the de Havilland Tiger Moth biplane at 4 EFTS, that's the Elementary Flying Training School, RAF Brough, in Yorkshire. Norman's unit was then sent via Manchester to Liverpool, where he embarked to an unknown overseas destination to continue training under the Empire Air Training Scheme. Norman recalls the escort ship's guns being fired as practice and occasionally to warn off high-flying enemy reconnaissance aircraft. He also remembers the U-boat attack drills requiring muster, that's safety drills, on the deck. The convoy called at Freetown, Sierra Leone, before docking at Cape Town in South Africa. At the RAF's No. 27 Service Flying Training School in Bulawayo, Southern Rhodesia, a British colony until 1965, which is now modern-day Zimbabwe, Norman and his fellow trainers were issued with tropical kit, pith helmets and shorts, plus the formal cadet pilot's cap with a white hat band.
That was ultimately going to lead him to Burma. His course in Rhodesia included things like aircraft recognition of Japanese aircraft.
Yes.
Yeah. We were going to fight in Burma.
How old were you then, Norman?
About age 17 or 18 or something.
1925.
So you haven't been this close to a Harvard lately, have you?
No. Oh dear, it's as close as I've been here. This is the nearest I've been from time.
There's an organisation called Project Propeller, and they organise an annual event specifically for World War II RAF aircrew, and they bring them from all over Britain to a central airfield where they meet and can share their reminiscences and so on. Last year it was actually in September because of COVID, and the year before that it was actually cancelled. But last September we flew to Halfpenny Green. This year Mr. Enders will be flying on the 19th of June.
That's amazing.
Is it? So?
Yeah, it's the Air Force.
Continuing his flight training, Norman progressed to the Harvard Advanced Trainer. The serious business of flying started at dawn each day to avoid the intense midday heat. He remembers the huge radial Pratt & Whitney engine vibrating as he opened the throttle, building revs for takeoff speed. Each flight consisting of 3 Harvard aircraft roaring off in clouds of dust. They soared over the Rhodesian bush landscape for navigation, aerial gunnery exercises and light bombing practice. The instructor in the rear cockpit always gave a constant commentary throughout the flights, which included aerobatics and evasive manoeuvres. One particular incident that Norman recalls is of misjudging a landing and his instructor, increasingly agitated, shouting, "Pull up, pull up!" accompanied by some coarse language, before gaining control, whizzing at low level along the runway before roaring over the boundary fence, climbing and banking and going back for another attempt. Norman's group concentrated on training for the war with Japan, and he was probably destined for No. 1670 Thunderbolt Conversion Unit in Bangalore, India, before frontline service over in Myanmar, then Burma. The RAF decided, however, to retrain Norman on radar, and he was transferred to No. 9 RDF RAF Yatesbury in Wiltshire. It was there that he celebrated VE Day in May 1945. But Norman's flying days were not yet over. In August 2019, Mr. Baillie joined Norman as he co-piloted a light aircraft flying out of North Weald to the Shuttleworth Aircraft Collection in Bedfordshire. Norman was obviously delighted and nervous to be back in the office, as it were, and a small crowd from the RAF Association in Chingford branch assembled to see him off. During our visit, a de Havilland Tiger Moth landed and taxied up. Norman and the notably young pilot chatted about the aircraft. A true meeting of minds separated by 7 decades of life experience. On our return flight, we flew low over Chingford Reservoirs, the site of the former RNAS Chingford airfield, before landing back at North Weald. Now grounded, Norman is a resident of a Walthamstow care home, but he continues avidly to read his monthly Aeroplane magazine. James Baillie was an aerospace export manager based in the UK and Germany. His father served in the RAF. James is also an NHS dementia research champion and recently completed an MA in theology and is seeking ordination. This is John Rhodes with CRH News.